After the long wait, we finally have a ton of Cardano projects starting to release in the Cardano ecosystem. And out of all the projects that have been releasing or about to release, there is one project in particular that for me, I am most interested in, and that is Meld. So in this video, I'm going to go over exactly what Meld is, why I'm excited about it, and how I'm going to use Meld to make a lot of money, hopefully. But without further ado, let's get into it. So what exactly is Meld and why am I so bullish on it? Well, to put it simply, guys, they are the banking of the DeFi world. So it is a non-custodial banking protocol that you can securely lend and borrow both crypto and fiat currencies with ease, while at the same time being able to stake your tokens. Let me break this down to you guys because this is pretty crazy. Let's say I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I don't want to sell my Bitcoin. I want to keep my Bitcoin. But the problem is I need cash. I have a bunch of crypto, but I need cash to pay for something. So whether it's buying a house or paying for college or whatever the case is, I need cash. Well, the traditional thing that you would do is you'd say, okay, I guess I'm selling my Bitcoin and then I'm going to get cash and then I have to pay capital gains tax on it. And at least now I have some cash, but the problem is you're out the Bitcoin and now you're subject to taxes. What Meld is doing, which is really awesome, is they're saying, hey, if I have $100,000 in Bitcoin and I need cash, why don't you put that Bitcoin as collateral to us in a smart contract that's decentralized and you know that you can trust? And if you have $100,000, we'll let you get $50,000 or half of that in whatever currency you want. What's cool about Meld in particular is they allow you to get that in fiat currency. So that means in the US, I can keep my Bitcoin, my $100,000 of Bitcoin. I can get $50,000 of cash deposited into my bank account. I didn't have to pay any taxes on that. I still own that Bitcoin, and all I have to do is pay off the loan each month. And then if I want my Bitcoin back, if I want to be able to, sell it, do whatever I want with it, all I have to do is pay off that original cash loan. And this was all tax-free. Taking out cash on a collateral or asset is something a lot of rich people do. The reason is why pay all of this money in capital gains tax when you can simply keep holding that asset and pay off a loan over time. Now, what would I personally do, and this is just an example to you guys, hey, I think Bitcoin's going to go up a lot. I think Bitcoin in 10 years is going to be over $1 million of Bitcoin. Why would I sell my Bitcoin? Oh, well, I want to get into real estate. I want to buy a home. I want a house hack. I want an Airbnb, whatever the situation is. Well, this solves everything, right? Like you can literally keep your Bitcoin, take out a cash loan, use that cash loan to buy a property. Now that property, you can Airbnb, right? Or you can rent it out. And the rent and the cash flow that you're going to get from that investment property is going to pay off the loan that you took as collateral. And you get to hold your Bitcoin still. So now all of a sudden you were able to leverage your money with a very low interest rate because it's collateral, so it's very low risk for anyone that is loaning the money. It's just crazy. And now all of a sudden you have another cash producing asset such as real estate that's going to pay for itself and pay for the loan. All tax free. I am just so bullish on the use case of this because, guys, you can look at AAVE, for example, which is a 2.6 billion market cap that's on Ethereum, and they do a very similar thing. But one thing you'll notice, guys, is yes, the interest rates are low, anywhere from 1 to 3%. But the problem is guess what? I don't see any US dollars on here. I don't see a way for me to actually get money into my bank account. It's cool borrowing this and all, but the use case is very limited. I want the use case of being able to get fiat money. I have enough money in the crypto world that I don't want to touch. I want to actually be able to get dollars, to actually be able to buy things that aren't necessarily available with crypto. It doesn't even stop there, guys. This is super cool because it's all built on Cardano using smart contracts and is completely decentralized, borderless, and democratic. So let's say the government in the US, because the SEC doesn't know what they're doing, all of a sudden wants to change things. Well, You can't right now. I'm locked into this smart contract. They have to fulfill this. We already agreed on that, right? Like it is just so cool. The whole way the decentralized world is heading, where people can lend and borrow with each other rather than going through these different banks and institutions. It's going to enable us to get way better rates. It's going to enable us to have way more transparency, to have a smart contract basically uphold the integrity of a deal rather than an individual that is corrupt or a corrupt organization that wants to take advantage of you. It's just super awesome. They explain how it works a little bit more down here. You're going to be able to use this Meld app and you're going to be able to use your collateral for twice the amount you'd like to borrow. So for example, if I want to borrow $50,000, I'm going to need $100,000 worth of crypto. Then what happens is when the smart contract is in place, they're going to transfer the money into your bank account. Now, this is an even cooler aspect. Your collateral is added to their liquidity pools and it generates a yield and works for you the entire lifespan of the loan. So that means your interest rate, or the amount you're actually going to have to pay, is way, way lower than anything you can get from any bank, because your money's literally working for you while you have a loan. And also, like, now all of a sudden, let's say you want that money back. Well, all this, you just have to pay your monthly payments, you pay the interest, and once the principal is done, your collateral is released. And you're earning the entire time. Whether you're borrowing, lending, staking, holding, you're always earning. It's literally like, why would I ever go to Wells Fargo? Why would I ever go to Bank of America? This is literally the killer of banks. Why would I get money from anywhere besides a decentralized platform like this? This is changing the game, and this is why I'm so excited about this project, and I've had to talk about it. I've been staking in their ISPO since it's come out practically. I love this, man. Down here, they show their roadmap a little bit. They already have this Meld staking, which I can show you over here. You can stake for 6 months, which is a lock for 12% APY, or a 12-month stake is 15% APY. I personally don't like locking my money. I would rather be able to move it around and sell. I'm a very active trader, so I wouldn't necessarily lock it if you're like me, because that 12-15% isn't a large number. But if you're someone who's more passive and just likes holding things, then that is a great option to make money from that. That's already out. They're going to have their bridge, and they're going to have that app, which is going to allow you to do all this stuff. They're also going to have their stable coin, and they're going to be launching on centralized exchanges. Right now, the best place to buy it is probably going to be SundaeSwap. In this year, they will allow that lending and borrowing. They're going to have the vaults. They're going to have the Oracle to make sure all the prices is right. They're going to have the Fiat credit line. It's just super cool. They're also going to release NFTs, which I'll show in a second as well. This team is stacked. They have all of their LinkedIn profiles. They're all docs. This is like what I look for in a project. They have a ton of advisors, just a very talented and large team overall. They mean business. They have an incredible amount of partners, as well as investors that have heavily invested in this project as well. The team is also releasing NFTs called bank managers. Now, if you have delegated in that Meld ISPO pool for even 5 days, you're going to be able to mint these bad boys. Now, what's cool about it is it's not just an NFT that doesn't have any utility. You're going to actually be able to make more money through staking if you own one of these NFTs. And the higher the evolution of it, the more rate or the more gain you are going to get from it. For example, Evolution 1 is going to give you an additional 1%, and then Evolution 5 is all the way up to another 5% from the staking. I like how this team has so many different things they're releasing, and this bank manager idea was very smart. They're bringing a whole nother level of utility when it comes to that NFT, because you're going to be able to make more money in the long run. So you're going to be able to calculate, depending on how much cash and how much capital you have, whether or not it's worth getting these different NFTs, these bank managers, and if it's worth evolving them. If you've got a ton of money and it only costs, let's say, $2,000 to $3,000 for you to get an Evolution 5 and get an additional 5%, then that might be an investment that is totally worth it to you, especially if the price of Meld tokens goes up up a lot over time, which I'm expecting it to do. They have a 52-page white paper that I read every single page on, so you guys don't have to. The big things that you guys have to know is that they have a big team of 25 people. There is a total of 4,000 tokens that are going to be supplied, and this is on the Cardano blockchain. Now, it is a decentralized lending protocol. They're based in Singapore, but they also have their governance or their Meld Foundation located in Switzerland. The main things they're going to be doing, like I had said, was the lending, the borrowing, the staking, liquidity pools. It's non-custodial, trustless, composable, just super, super cool. Most of this white paper, they're just going over why this is going to be such a big industry and why they're in a good spot. Just to sum it up, guys, they're exactly right. It's 100% correct, right? Now, the whole thing that they're solving is this access to cash. People have a lot of crypto, but they don't have cash. Now you're going to have these loans. Crypto rich, but cash poor. Exactly what I was talking about. This is actually a situation that I find myself in where the majority of my money is in crypto because I'm so bullish on it and I'm not bullish on the dollar. So they're going to be able to do those loans. The lack of trust and transparency, well, we're decentralized. Like I was saying earlier, this is fast and methodical. You are going to be able to get these loans immediately. You're not going to have to wait for approval through all these different people and then get scammed basically on these different interest rates. It's an insane business model. They're going to connect the whole banking, the staking, the yield farming. Very cool stuff. You can actually farm with this token right now on Sunday Swap. You are going to have to be KYC verified. This is pretty obvious in my opinion, but that is something that some people care a lot about. They're going to have their own debit card, which is cool. You know, very similar to the Crypto.com card that gives you a ton of benefits, which, you know, is actually a really great card, guys. If you look into it, I can make a video on it if you want. They just talk about the market, how many people are in crypto, how people that are younger trust crypto. I mean, this is stuff that, like, I'm pretty sure if you're watching this video and I don't have a ton of subscribers, like, I'm pretty sure you know that crypto is going to be a very, very big deal. And that's really what they were stressing in this for the most part. Now, the big thing that I want to bring up here is actually how they launched their tokens and their tokenomics, because that is one of the reasons I'm actually bullish on the token price itself. I'm about to break this down to you guys, and this is basically, in my opinion, going to prove to you why this coin is going to go up a lot in price, at least in the long term, as far as a long-term investment, right? This was their breakdown of their 4 billion tokens, where they went. 30% was in a private sale. The team got 17.5%. The ISPO, or that initial stake pool offering, was 20%, which is actually a very big number. I like ISPOs a lot. I'm a big fan of them, and I actually had gotten somewhere like $4,000 or $5,000 worth of Meld tokens from my ISPO. Now, I had a decent amount of ADA that I was staking for it, but I love how they did the ISPO. 20% is going to be those liquidity rewards through the farming and the staking and all of that stuff. And then they have the partnerships and foundation. The foundation is basically Meld's vault in a sense, and they get to choose different things to do with that money. They were talking about doing different burns, etc., etc. Now, this is the part that really gets me excited here. They have 4 billion tokens. 1 billion of those tokens were through the ISPO that were launched as soon as this token went live. It got deposited in people's wallets, right? Everyone else, besides the 20% that's going towards liquidity and farming rewards over time, everyone else is vested, only getting 4% per month. That is including the team, advisors, partners, private sale, regardless, right? And now they're using that money to do the engineering, regulatory, R&D, marketing, whatever. I don't really care. This is the breakdown of the token release schedule, though, guys. If you see here, year 0, we're looking at 946 million of the tokens in circulation. This is actually more than this. This is a little bit over 1 billion that is already out. Now look at this. 1 year later, we're going to be at 2.25 billion. The reason is we have all of those tokens going into circulation that were vested at one point, but now are being released each month. Year 2. We're at 3.576 billion. Year 3, 3.9 billion. As you see here, guys, it caps off at 4 billion. So all of the tokens are mostly going to be in circulation after 3 years. And then after that, there will be no increase of tokens ever. Now, why are these tokenomics so important, and why does that make me very bullish on the price of Meld tokens? Well, think about it this, guys. We can assume that Meld token demand is going to be at one of its lowest points right now. And there's a couple reasons for this. One, it just came out, so not a lot of people know about it, right? Two, all of the utility isn't here yet. The app, the ability to take out loans, the NFTs, none of this stuff is out yet. And three, everyone and their grandma is crapping and sleeping on Cardano right now because of how long stuff took to get out and the congestion that we see in the network. So a lot of people simply aren't paying attention to this stuff. This becomes a very straightforward supply and demand situation. Right now, we have 946 million tokens. It's probably a little more than that. It's probably about 1 billion tokens. At the end of this year, we are going to have 2.2 billion tokens in circulation out of 4 billion, which means that it is going to be about double at the end of the year than what it is right now, which means that demand is going to have to double for the price to stay the same. So my whole question to you guys is, do you think in a year, when we have all of these different utilities coming out and the crypto market hopefully goes up and more people get into DeFi and more people understand this and more people pay attention to Meld, do you think demand is going to double in a year? If so, you think that price is going to relatively stay the same and you can get your 12 to 15% APY. If you think it's going to be more demand than double, then you are going to have an increase of supply, an increase of price, right? Now, this is what's interesting, is most of us that are investing in this stuff and paying attention to Cardano are probably long-term investors, right? Well, from years 1 to year 2, we are now going from 2.25 billion to 3.5 billion. So once again, we have a decent jump up, but not nearly as much. Now we are at 2 years of this, of more people finding it, of more people getting into crypto, of more people realizing what they can do with real estate and, in a sense, legally getting around taxes. Let's just say you still don't think demand is going to keep up or match the increase in supply. From years 2 to year 3, we are only going to get another 300 million tokens. And let me just show you guys this again. Look at this chart. The majority of the supply is happening right now, while demand is in my opinion, at its lowest it's going to be for this token. And after, from year 2 to year 3, we are now only gaining 300 to 400 million tokens. And then after year 3, it's pretty much negligible until we reach the max after year 7. But I pretty much assume that we're hitting the max at year 3. So that means, guys, that as far as a long-term investment, if you get in now or sometime within the next year, you are getting in when demand and utility is at the lowest and supply is at its highest as far as new supply coming in. And then after these couple years, there's going to be almost no new supply added. But guess what? Demand is going to continue to increase drastically because this isn't a project that's going anywhere. And the utility from this project is absolutely important and crucial to people that want to take advantage of different tactics such as myself. I'm sorry if that was like a little bit complicated. It's kind of hard to articulate what's going into my mind here. But the summary of what I just said is that demand and utility is at the lowest and supply is at the highest, and demand is going to go up a lot over time and supply is going to pretty much bottom out, which ultimately is going to lead to an increase in price on top of just the overall crypto market growing over the next couple years as more people become knowledgeable on this and more people adopt it. I don't like to make any price targets here, but Meld right now is sitting at about 15, 16 cents with a fully diluted market cap of 633 million. This isn't that big of a deal to me because it is going to take a few years for all of those tokens to really come out. Now, if you look at AAVE, which is going to be the main competitor for this on Ethereum, we're looking at about a 2.4 billion market cap, so about 4 times larger than what Meld currently is at. And the big difference is unless I'm tripping here, I couldn't find a way to actually get fiat currency using AAVE. So to me, AAVE is like useless, right? Because my whole strategy is actually being able to get fiat cash to be able to do stuff with that, such as buy real estate and other assets that are going to pay off that loan. So I can assume that over the next couple years that we can see Meld becoming in a very similar situation to AAVE. Maybe not overtaking AAVE, but we could definitely see it get into, my opinion, a top 80 coin if it is really providing this sort of thing. So a top 80 coin, we're looking at a 1.25 billion overall market cap at the minimum in the current situation of the market that we're in. Now, stuff happens, guys, so don't take any price targets or price points to heart here, and just realize that a lot of supply is coming out over this next year, but I personally think that demand is going to outweigh that. Overall, though, Meld is a very cool protocol. I like what they're doing. I'm personally going to be using that. I have been eyeing a lot of different real estate properties to do Airbnbs at, and this is going to be the perfect way for me to be able to hold my crypto because I'm so bullish on it, while at the same time getting very low interest rates to be able to buy these different properties. So that's how I personally would use it, but there are so many different things you can do with this, and I am very happy with this team and the direction they're going, and I am personally excited to be taking advantage of this stuff as long, and I'm gonna do it before the US freaking bans it, because they probably are going to try to pull some crap like that. But yeah, overall though, guys, love the project. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to post like different Cardano videos, I believe on Mondays now. So every Monday I'm going to be going over some sort of new Cardano project. I go over a lot of other stuff too, like Cardano NFTs, Solana NFTs, Metaverse Gaming, Phantom, Velis. If you're interested in any of that, make sure you subscribe. But yeah, hope everyone here has an awesome day.